And so my sunrise service message is called this: an empty tomb and a closed case. All rise, says the bailiff. Go ahead, call your first witness, says the judge. The court calls Mary Magdalene to the stand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God. I do, she replies. Where were you on the morning in question? I was preparing spices to bring to the tomb where Jesus' body was laid. Were you alone? No, there were many women who came with him from Galilee. We rested together on the Sabbath. Tell us exactly what happened, according to your witness. We came to the tomb with our spices, and when we arrived, we noticed something strange. The stone in front of the tomb had been rolled away. Rolled away? By whom? Well, we didn't know in the moment. The stone was so large, it would have taken several strong men to move it, but that's the thing. The guards, they were gone. There was no one there. I see. You mean to tell me you all happened to arrive, happened to see the tomb left unattended, even after we know guards were posted there. And on top of that, the stone covering the entrance of the tomb had been moved. Sounds suspicious to me. That's what we thought as well. That's why we decided to look inside the tomb. But when we did, we didn't find what we thought we would find. Well, just what did you find? He was gone. The Lord was gone. Only his grave clothes remained where he lay. So you're telling me you arrived at a heavily guarded tomb of a notorious blasphemer, rebel rouser, enemy of the state, and found nothing? Yes. We were as perplexed as you are making the story out to be. But there was something. We didn't find the Lord, but we found two men in shining garments. But they were not like any men we had seen before. We couldn't look upon them, but they spoke to us, and their tone was almost sarcastic as they asked why we sought the living among the dead. None of us knew what they were talking about. It got a little awkward. But then they told us, he's not here. He is risen. We couldn't run fast enough to tell the others what we had seen and heard. I don't remember even running. My heart was beating so fast. So you're telling the court two men in shining garments were at the tomb and told you Jesus was risen from the dead. Are you sure these weren't the men who rolled away the stone and stole his body? No, surely, I told you before, we've never seen men like these before. Okay, one more question. It is said Jesus appeared to you first, even before his own disciples. Why? I'm not sure. The others had left, but I was still looking for him. They ran away. I don't know. Maybe they thought they wouldn't find him. Maybe they didn't believe what the men in the shining garments had said, but I believed I would find him, but something else happened. And what was that? He asked. He found me, she said. No further questions. Next witness. The court calls Pontius Pilate to the stand. Is it true you posted guards in front of the tomb of this Jesus of Nazareth? Yes, responded Pilate. The chief priests and Pharisees came together before me. They were worried Jesus' disciples would come by night and steal his body, and so strengthen their madness. So we placed a stone at the tomb, and we sealed the edges with clay. This way we would know if it had been tampered with. We placed 4 guards at the tomb, and they were changed out every 3 hours. Are you sure these men showed up for their duty? I am Pilate. What I have written, I have written. What I have spoken, I have spoken. Okay. But was it not you who found no fault with Jesus? Was it not you who washed your hands of this innocent man's blood? Maybe you had something to do with this disappearance. Maybe it's you who is the Christian sympathizer. To do so would be certain death, Pilate responded. I have no king but Caesar. I am no Jew, let alone a Christian. I gave the command and my men followed it. No further questions, but I would like to call my next witness. The court calls Legate Albus to stand, the Roman soldier. Now stay with me. I'm using some poetic license here. Where were you on the morning in question? I was standing guard at the tomb of the one they called Jesus of Nazareth, the tomb belonging to Joseph of Arimathea. Were you alone? No. Who was with you? 3 others there were, Felix, Draco, and Magnus. What happened to the body of Jesus? I don't remember. There was a bright light. The earth shook like an earthquake. And when I awoke, the body was gone. We ran as fast as we could into the city. We told the chief priests what had happened. The stone had been rolled away. The men, we've never seen men like that before, dressed in shining garments. What happened next? The Pharisees told us not to tell anyone what we had seen or heard. We thought maybe they were looking out for us, deserting our post with a certain death sentence, a capital crime. If Pilate knew, wait, he doesn't know, does he? But they said they would give us, well, some money. More money than we had ever seen or would ever see. I've got 4 mouths to feed. With a rebellion on, times are hard as it is. So I took it. They got us all together. We rehearsed our story. The disciples came by night and stole him away while we slept. At least, that was our story. Did you really think that would hold up? You were rotated every 3 hours. There's no way you could have been tired in 3 hours, especially not on that high profile of a job. You're a Roman soldier, the best in the empire. No, but we didn't want to die either. They said if it were found out that we were the ones that lost the body, they would vouch for us to our superiors. So we took the money and we did as we were told. Interesting. Hush money. And all 4 of your stories line up perfectly. Next witness. The court calls the angel known as Gabriel to the stand. The room grew quiet. As a man dressed in a shining garment approached the stand. Where were you the morning in question? I was at the tomb waiting for the women to arrive, said Gabriel. Imagine that. I had a message for them. Yes, I've heard of you and your messages. Please continue. I could hear them coming, even though it wasn't quite dawn. They were asking who could roll the stone away so they could use the spices they had prepared. I got kind of tired of them hearing them arguing, so I rolled away the stone myself. You should have seen their faces when they arrived and saw the stone already rolled away. Since rolling the stone away was so easy for you, hiding the body must have been even easier. No. My command was to roll away the stone. I had no authority to move his body. I'm only created just a little above you. Don't you remember that? Besides, there wasn't a body to move. I see. What happened next? Well, people are always frightened of me. The shepherds, Mary, Samson's parents, everybody. So why would I expect anything different here? I finally got to deliver my message. Be not affrighted. Oh, sorry. Don't be afraid. You seek Jesus of Nazareth, who is crucified. He is risen. He is not here. Behold the place where they laid him. But go your way and tell his disciples and Peter. That was it. That's how it happened. No further questions. Next witness. The court calls Caiaphas, also known as Simon Bar-Jonah, to some called Peter. Where were you on the morning in question? I was lost. I had denied. I had denied my Lord. I had shamed myself. He was dead and I was broken. Me, Peter, the stone, hard, coarse, strong, broken, and helpless. Yes, you are a big, strong fisherman. Weren't you the one who carried a boat sinking load of fish all by yourself? Maybe it was you who rolled away the stone and took his body. Certainly not. I couldn't go anywhere near the place. I couldn't stand the thought of betraying him. The look he gave me, the sounds of the rooster still ringing in my head. Anyway, that's until Mary found me. She told me Jesus was alive. Where? I thought to myself, where can I find him? And then he appeared right before me, just as I'm before you. What happened? What did he tell you? I can't say. The Holy Spirit wouldn't permit me to say. I can only tell you we met. No further questions. Last witness. The court calls Jesus Christ to the stand. There was a peace in the room like none had ever felt before. A fragrance filled the air. There was a great light, and the light took the stand. So here you are, the star witness. Just who do you think you are? There was a pause. I am. The court had to take a brief recess because everyone in the court was knocked to the floor. Where were you on the morning in question? I had just returned from preaching to the captives and taking the keys of death and hell and the grave. And next I appeared to Mary, and then Peter, and then the rest of my disciples. It's all there in the evidence. Didn't you read it? But I don't understand. Why? Why, Jesus? Why did you need to be resurrected? Wasn't your death enough? For the forgiveness of sin, yes. For the freedom from the curse, yes. But for sin to be put away once and for all, for those who believe in me to be raised to life and live with me forever, I had to be resurrected. There could be no other way. How do we know someone just didn't take your body and you're just a mere man parading around here pretending to be the Messiah? Would someone in a hurry, Jesus said, really take the time to fold the grave clothes? Or for that matter, would they bother to even take them off? Why? Wouldn't it be easier to conceal a body wrapped in grave clothes? Wouldn't it be easier to move a body tightly wrapped in grave clothes than if it were exposed? So you're saying they just killed you, and after they killed you, you just came back to life just like that? No, Jesus said. No one killed me. I laid down my life. And when it was completed, I took it back up again. It's all right there in the evidence. I am the resurrection and the life. No further questions. The presiding judge clears his throat and he speaks. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, here are the facts that have been presented. The garden tomb belonging to Joseph of Arimathea held the body of one Jesus Christ. But on the third day, miraculously, the body wasn't there. And also somehow miraculously, in front of the tomb, not easily moved even by multiple men, the stone was rolled away. And we were told by two men in shining garments. We've heard from witnesses both who believe in this Jesus and who don't. We know there were guards posted. We have heard firsthand from the guards that they were paid off to sell a lie. A lie that I must admit, I too have believed. We heard from Pilate about the loyalty of his guards and his resistance against all ties to him and illegally removing the body. We heard from Mary. We heard from Peter. We heard from the angel at the tomb and the person in question, Jesus Christ himself, who calls himself the resurrection and the life. All of these amplify and echo the miraculous events of which we all have just heard. But now it's up to you, men and women of the jury, to decide. Have you reached a verdict? Have you reached a verdict? You see, none of us were there at the tomb. Just like no juror was there when a crime was committed. When you go into court, you hear the cases that are presented. You hear from the eyewitnesses. You hear from the people that were there. And it's up to you, based on what you've heard, to make a decision, to decide what you're going to believe and come up with a verdict. Have you reached a verdict? I have. I have reached a verdict. And my verdict is this, that I believe that he is risen. I believe the word of the angel. I believe the word of Mary and of Peter. I believe the word of God that Jesus Christ is risen. I have reached the verdict, but have you?